Hi, citizens. I just have a bunch of digital art that I made on the thing, but I realized I haven't been making those kind of main big YouTube things. So I thought I would do that. But then I realized I usually have a discussion over it, and since they're all such drastically different art, I don't really I'm gonna need to figure out something to talk about. Now, I've been looking around on YouTube at a lot of different things that are happening in our community, and I thought the biggest issue was AI art, which it is. It's pretty bad. Me personally, it's a struggle. But what I also find is that a lot of people have just been ridiculing either beginner artists or just ridiculing artists with a different art style in general. And there's also the problem of tracing, and there's so many different art topics that I didn't even realize were a thing until I actually looked deeply into it. It's a serious problem, and I don't I like to believe there is so much good in this world, but sometimes it's not what I expect it to be, and I get severely disappointed. And since I've been looking at a lot of that stuff, I kind of just been getting a little bit grumpy or upset, and it's no one's fault. It's my own fault for looking this stuff up. But yeah, so I just thought might as well talk about it. And I'm not gonna say any specific artist or anything in general because I don't want any of that harassment, even though I'm not popular enough for anybody to even want to harass one. But I still feel like it's a need for precaution and for safety. So I started looking up the different things, and I guess one of the ones I've been so focused on are different things that are people just making fun of people's art. And I don't know, I was looking through the different drama for the jelly tip art people. There's so much I don't know, so if I'm getting any of this information wrong, I apologize. But what I have found is that people are having such a strong issue with all these jelly tip people, saying that they're all the same, that they all act the same. Now I don't know some of the names of some of this, so I might need to do some more research on it. But so correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of them are having these problems with those communities because it seems like they're all just the same, and people want to see or try a new art style or something like that. And then what I am bugged with is all of these different people are like, yo, we want a new art style and stuff like that. And then they go over to these people with really bright colors and stuff like that. These art styles might not be my typical favorite art styles, but some of them I can agree with are kind of cute. Just maybe not something I would personally draw or I would personally get into myself. But anyways, so there's all of that big issue. But I wouldn't go out of my way to harass these artists because I totally understand that my opinion is my opinion, and I wouldn't want somebody to come over to my art and be like, oh, your art sucks, this, that, and then not give me any advice on how to improve, and or just kind of, because I'm fine with criticism. My problem is when they don't criticize and they just straight up just say your art sucks, point blank. Like, I don't know. It's weird. But having all of that, and then to go over to this artist who, like, is just drawing in their own art style, just having fun, and maybe not have an art style that you typically agree with, and then to go out of your way to go say your art is wrong. Who can say someone's art is wrong? Another thing. It's just, or like the art style is really bad, or something like that. It's just, or just making fun of them in general. I may not typically like the same art style as some of these people, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna go ridicule them for it. It just means I have different taste. I have a different opinion, and that's okay. But I don't need to go onto their page and start harassing them for having a different opinion. And art is a form of self-expression, which I've reiterated with whenever I'm talking about AI art. That, you know, it's a form of expression. It can help people cope with a lot of different things, a lot of different issues. It can be a vent. It can be so many different things. You can literally draw anything, and it's literally it's so amazing. And I just, it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like literally the best feeling in the world to go and make something for yourself. And it's just, why should we hate on someone for doing a self-expression thing? Are they hurting anyone with this? No. Then and are you being helpful with any of this? No, you're not. Like, and you can't criticize saying that you want new kinds of art and then go off and harass someone for having a different art style that is not aesthetically pleasing. And I know this has been said so many different times, but I'm reiterating it again because it's so, it's not okay. It is really not okay. And honestly, I don't see a way that art can actually grow as a community if we don't let art be ugly, if that makes sense. Because if I look at my art, I say it's pretty bad. I don't like some of my art because it sucks. Sometimes it sucks. And I understand that. But I am perfectly fine with posting it and stuff like that, because even though sometimes my art is so ugly and hideous, it is a form of growth. And so maybe they'll grow out of that art style, and if they don't, that's fine too. It's like, it's a form of self-expression, and if you don't like it, you don't have to. That means you can connect with another artist. It doesn't mean you always have to connect with the same kind of artist. And it's just, does it really need to have a huge whole fight where everybody has to be talking about? I don't think so, but here we are talking about it, because humanity is just, I guess, not what I always see it as sometimes, because sometimes I always think, okay, we're all gonna the art community is great. We're all gonna have a good time. We're all gonna enjoy each other. We're gonna do great. We're gonna be nice to each other. We're gonna support artists no matter what level they are. It's great. It's gonna be fun. And then I have to go over and see people just harassing people for like literally existing. Like I don't understand. Is there a way for someone to get me to understand this? Because it's not clicking in my head. Because my friends, like, there was this one girl who would always insult my art and not even give constructive criticism, would just say my art is bad, point blank taken, and I should never get an art job or do anything in the art. It's just something that, like, they're like, no, just give up kind of thing. And then they would show me their digital art or their art or something like that, and I didn't like their art. How did I respond to them even with all that? I was like, oh, it's great. I think you're doing really well. Because that's what you do. And I just thought everyone did that. Like, I didn't think this needed to be talked about. It's just like, you support people, and if you don't want to see it on your page, there's a button called "Don't recommend this channel." I don't like seeing a lot of gacha life, but they're there. So what I do is I click "Don't recommend this," and it's gone. And then, even then, that was when I was younger. I didn't like gacha life, and I started to grow into it because I realized, even though I don't like the same gacha lifestyle thing, I realized that even then you can still see there is some form of self-expression there. Some people figured out really hard how to tween, and they're making characters. It is something that sometimes beginner artists go to before they get to the actual artist. They use that as a base before they get to the actual art, and I appreciate it. And then I start actually considering it, because people just need to have an open mind. And I thought everyone had that open mind. Honestly, I truly did. And it's just disappointing to just see that some people just don't. And I don't want to hate on anyone. Everybody has this process, because when I was younger, when I would look at any of the furry community in middle school, because of my experiences with Cleo, and Cleo hating on me for anything considerably furry-like, and, like, Cleo is someone I knew, and, like, since I had just such a bad experience with it, I started hating on some of the people there. And then I grew up, and I realized this art community is not harming anyone. It is not hurting anybody around me if they exist. And in fact, they're being quite nice. And for example, I like Zootopia. Technically, people would consider that a furry thing. Why can't I enjoy furries? They're there. They exist. And I don't know why people ridicule them so hard. It's just, I think the only really cringe thing I've actually found out there in the world is when people are making fun of other people for just having a good time. I don't understand that. Of course, if they're making fun of someone for insulting them, and they're making fun of them, like, if somebody is harassing or bullying somebody else and they're making fun of it, of course I would not condone it, but I understand it, and I'm not gonna find it as cringeworthy, because in my eyes they're just really just trying to get revenge, whether I want them to or not. It's just something that happens. Now, I'm not gonna be condoning any of it. I don't harass people whether they harassed you or not. And I'm not a perfect example of any of this, but I can understand why people do that. If the colors are too oversaturated for you, or you just don't like the super strong colors, just don't interact with it. And I don't think that's a hard ask. Just don't interact. If you interact, it's just, I don't like, are you doing you any favors? I don't know. It's just, I know it's kind of hard hearing this coming from someone who barely understands art themselves and is still working on progressing with their own art. And I know this is hard to hear from someone who has never taken a college art class, though I'm trying to, and who's never really been deeply succumbed to the art community fully yet. Hence why I'm just barely learning about people arguing over art styles just now. I didn't know people do argue. It's just, I don't know. So even with all of that, I understand hearing this from my point of view is just, it might be a little bit irritating, but I feel like coming from someone who is starting out, who is learning from going from traditional art to digital art, it really just doesn't help when people say your art sucks or your art style just sucks, point blank. I did not learn that way. I got inspiration from other art, from other artists, and I'm learning and I'm growing, giving me details of, hey, I know it's a cartoonish style, but since you over-exaggerated this a little bit, it's taking away from the bigger picture, or something like that. Those criticisms are fine. But when you just say it's bad because I don't like it, and it's just bad without giving me any sort of criticism is not. And criticism and bullying are two different things. I've had people just completely go ham at my art and just they do that, and then go, oh, I'm just giving you criticism. You need to learn to have criticism if you want to go into a professional field of this, which I understand. If I'm gonna go into a professional field, I need to learn how to get criticized better, which I do understand I need to work on sometimes. Though just saying the art is bad or just saying only the negative parts are not gonna help me. For example, my book, the first chapter sucked. It was bad. And I'm already over criticizing myself on it. But it was not great. But at the time, I was really proud of it, and I was sending it to people that I knew and stuff like that. And when people just said that they liked it without giving me any advice, that didn't help me grow. And when people, but like, it inspired me to work harder and to learn more and to do it. So I guess in a way it did help me grow, but probably not in the ways I needed. Though it did help me grow and become more confident in my writing. And then when it comes to the criticisms, sometimes I would just get really bad criticisms on it and saying this is just bad. And I was like, oh, okay, well, great. How do I fix it? And then sometimes I would even just disregard it entirely because it's just, all you said was, it's bad. And so then I would be like, okay, well, I can't do anything with that information, so I'm not gonna get better. Or I would sometimes even have the thought of maybe I should just give up, which isn't a good mindset to have. Now, some of my family members, or not just my family members, but some of my friends, they would look at the thing and be like, this part is great. I love this part of the story. But you need to describe what the character is, because I have no idea what this character looks like. And from what I hear from your plot and what your ideas for the story is, it sounds like a really interesting story, but this first chapter is not describing what the rest of the story is going to be. And so in return, I'm not interested in the characters. They sound like really in-depth characters, which are great. I just don't understand why I care. And although that kind of hurt a little bit because that's my art, that's my baby, I took it, and that was good criticism. They said you gotta sandwich it. You gotta sandwich. And if you guys don't know what I mean, which I feel like everybody should, because it's the basic thing that you hear from every English teacher when it comes to criticizing someone else's work. A sandwich criticism is where you give, it's a compliment sandwich. The bread, the first loaf of bread, when you look at the top, it's a compliment. So for example, Letitia said, I really like how you describe some of the different parts. It really talks about some of the interests this character has, and it really gets in depth how the character is feeling in that moment. That's a compliment. And then they start learning, okay, this is good, but we need to work better on this. Okay, you discussed how this character feels like this is not working as well with it. Maybe state how they work on, like, how are they gonna, like, what are the actual specific things that they need, that they don't like about it. Get in detail, talk about it. Okay. And then another, get like maybe the lettuce. Like the lettuce, it goes tomato, then lettuce. Get the lettuce, where they give like a tiny little compliment that was like, I really like how you worded this. And then you get the meat, the thick meat. The thick meat part of it. And it's like, hey, I read through the whole thing, and one, it feels like a personal diary and not like an actual story, which if you want to portray more of a diary-like thing, I can understand that, but for your kind of story that I'm saying, it doesn't feel like a diary topic would work well. And also, I don't understand why I should care about this character. You need to go into more depth of why this character is here, why we're focusing on him, and what's the main part of this. And I don't feel like it's talking about what's gonna happen in the rest of the story. I need to have more of those details to figure out why I'm so deeply invested in this character. And then they ended off with another compliment where they go, this is a really great story. I can tell that you worked really hard on it and it's really well written. If you edit all of these parts, I can see how this can go really well. You have a great idea. I just think you need to work on these just slightly a little bit better. That is criticism. It's telling me what I need to know without being too harsh. And the reason I say that is because, not to say that I personally need a lot of sugar coating, no. What I'm saying is, one, people are more likely to consider what you're saying and not just gonna pull it off as just another hater. And two, it's gonna get the person more confident to grow and to learn. And three, it prevents any form of being accused of bullying or anything like that if you're actually saying that I do genuinely like this, but can you fix some things? And four, it's just me as a person, I over criticize. I look at my stuff and I already go, this is awful. I hate it. I hate everything. I hate myself and everything like that. And I don't know if everybody does that. It could be a only me thing, but knowing that I over criticize, I'm gonna look at their art and think, they're probably already looking at this and they're probably already picking out so many different mistakes that we don't even see as a outside viewer that they're making. And they're probably gonna ridicule themselves more than I'm going to ridicule them. So I'm gonna try to lift their spirits while also trying to find a ways for them to help and grow, for them to become better. And I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but there's a reason. There's a reason why I'm talking about this. Because I feel like, oh, my dog's over here. I'm gonna go open the door to say hi to him. Go. Hi, Broccoli. Little dog segment, I guess. Hello, Broccoli. Fluffy big. Oh, did you come back from the groomer? Oh, baby, come here. He's just gonna stare at me. Okay, so sorry, a little break for my dog Barkley. He's so cute. Look at the baby. You can't see him right now, but he's so adorable. Look at his little tail waggle. Anyway, I got distracted. And I've only done this in one recording. I'm not gonna be able to cut this out. Great. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Right. The reason I was having that whole conversation about my dog. You want out? No? Okay. Hi. What's up? Oh. Buckley, come here. No? Okay. Sorry. Back to conversation. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I feel like if people really want to go and harass these artists saying that their art sucks and it's crap and this, that, and other, at least be constructive with it. At least be like, hey, I feel like your art is really great. I like the line art for this. This is really nice. I'm just worried that the color palette is just oversaturated. And I'm worried that it may either cause seizures or it might be a little bit too much. Or if you want to keep having super bright colors that I'm worried is going to have like seizures or something, maybe put a little bit of a warning. Maybe put a little bit of a warning so we can make sure everybody is... Hi, Berkeley. To make sure everybody's staying safe and everything. I don't feel like that's a really hard thing to do, to just go, hey, your art's great and I really enjoy your art. I like certain concepts of the art. I just don't like these other concepts. That's all you have to do. If you just say your anatomy sucks, or say something like your anatomy is like, even if it's a stylistic choice to purposely make the anatomy wrong, if you just go, that's not correct anatomy, that anatomy sucks and stuff like that, it's like, that's not gonna help anyone. And also, you also have to consider that not everyone's style is your style. That's point blank, prove it. Because I personally, like, when you look at like, I'm trying to think of a good example. It's not coming. When you look at somebody's art, and maybe, for example, their eyes seem to be way above the rest of their facial features, because I've seen that before, where their like eyes are basically on their forehead and their face is just below everything else and stuff like that, and it's just all the facial features are down there and the eyes are up there. I don't know if I'm describing this right. I feel like I should be putting examples of this onto the thing so people can get a visual, but I'm a little too lazy for that. Anyway, if people do that and they're like, that's not correct anatomy, I feel like they know it's not correct anatomy. It feels more like I did this on purpose. And if you don't like it, swipe away. Or you can look at it and maybe try to understand why they did that. Because sometimes if you look at Picasso, he made wrong anatomy choices for style. And they had some sort of emotional aspect to it. Maybe you can look at it and be like, what kind of feeling is this meant to portray? Why did they choose to do this? What can I learn from this artist? I don't know. Is that really that hard to do? And I don't know. It's just, I just don't understand. I really just don't. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. Or, you know that anime style where the eyes are bigger than the rest of the face? And then the mouth is like really small. Me personally, in a form of way, I kind of do that, but me personally, in some ways, I don't like it. Because to me, it just looks off, it just looks weird and wacky and stuff. But I'm not gonna go over to someone and be like, the anatomy sucks, because of course they're trying to portray from an actual comic or like based off of an actual anime that they've seen, because I've seen that in mangas and stuff like that too. So it's a stylistic choice, and it might not be the style that I personally like or I personally enjoy, but if they enjoy it, why is it so hard to understand? I don't get it. I really don't. Like, can someone explain to me the appeal of this? It's just, it feels like it's gonna give me a bad day, and it's gonna give the creator a bad day, and it's just gonna give everyone a bad day. Why would you want to give somebody else the bad day you're having? Like, if it ruins your day seeing this, why would you want to ruin their day? I don't know. I don't get it. Is it me? Is it me? Really? Someone tell me. I don't know. I might be talking about this a little bit too long. I don't know what other way I can explain this. I just know there's just so many other ways to talk about your discomfort about something. You don't have to go hurt someone's feelings just because you, in particular, don't like it. And I understand. I have a lot of growing I need to do. I'm not really a digital artist. I do more traditional art. If you couldn't see from the beginnings of my channel, I did a lot of painting. But I also realized I want to like grow my art skills and different things. So I've been trying to slowly teach myself how to make how to make art, how to do digital art, because that is a medium I don't understand very well. And when I go on to the medium and I show that like it's something that I'm not as strong skilled of, but I'm trying to learn, in my mind I expect, in a perfect world, I expect for people to be understanding that this is my first time, and instead of just hating on me for not having the best artwork, they give me some sort of sympathy and understanding, and then try to help me become better at it. That's, in my perfect world, everyone will do that. But, and in many cases, from a lot of subscribers that I've had, a lot of people that I've commented, I've only had like maybe one bad comment. From my experiences, I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had any bad comments. It's all been love, and I appreciate that so much. Like, I don't know how much I can explain how much I appreciate all of the love I was given. Like, thank you so much, guys. But I also, it's like, not everybody gets that. Not everybody gets that love. Because sometimes I look at some beginner, like very beginner artists, and I look at their comments, and it's just filled with hate. And it's just, like, why are you harassing these children? Because I don't get the appeal. I really don't. In the perfect world, everybody will be supporting of each other. Everybody would want everyone to help and grow and become better than they originally are, but that's just not the case. I honestly feel like sometimes these people, they forget that these people are people with lives and problems that you probably aren't always looking at. For example, I was looking through a lot of different art criticisms, a lot of different art fights, because when I make art, I like to watch a little bit of videos of people talking, people arguing with each other sometimes. I find that enjoying. Anyway, I find one of them, and she was talking about this ongoing issue with two different people. And I understand that you can't always use mental health as an excuse or anything like that, but there was this person who was struggling. They were struggling. But nobody knew they were struggling, and they were just getting harassed, constantly getting their art called AI and stuff like that. Which the person who's reviewing this argument went through, and this person had provided speed paints. People provided showing them the layers that they put in, showing them their actual process of doing the art, doing it slow. They did it slowly without the speed paint, and they would redraw the art a few times over to kind of just prove that it's not AI, and people just kept saying it was not. It was a little bit stupid. And when she was looking at all of the other art that this person has done, because when someone gets accused of using AI art, typically what this YouTuber does is they look through all of these other things, making sure they looking greatly in detail and trying to make sure these aren't just human error mistakes, that these are actually AI mistakes. And they go deeply through the channel, and they go okay, here's different art pieces that they've done. Is this a one-off occurrences? Is this just the mistake that they make often? Is this normal for them? Is this just part of their art style? They look at multiple different things to make sure this person is not using AI art, which I appreciate. Sometimes, even though she looks through all of that, she has to go I'm sorry, I've looked through every single corner on trying to figure out and trying to prove that this is not AI, but I looked at every single corner and this is just AI, and I there's no way I can dispute this, I'm sorry, I tried, kind of thing. But when she was looking at it, there was so many proofs that this person actually drew what she said she drew. And she was looking through all of that, and it's just, during all of this huge fight dispute, before she was reviewing all of this and stuff like that, this girl, she just kept going she just kept going she keeps getting really mad at all of these people that are accusing her, which, fair enough. If I was accused of AI art, I would get super pissed off too. But she was blowing up at some people, and she did apologize, saying, hey, I didn't mean to get that angry about it. There's a lot of struggles that are not just happening in my family, but also in my personal life. People bullying me, people harassing me, and then when people started accusing my art of being AI, that kind of was just the final straw for me. And she apologized for it, which, honestly, seeing everything from her point of view, even without all the family drama and people bullying her and that other thing, I would still understand, because when I was looking through it, if somebody was to claim that my art was AI and everything like that, and they were blowing in I don't know, and then I was already on her side, girl, you don't need to apologize, it like, I understand. Like, it would piss me off because art is something so personal to me. To say that I faked it, it would bother me so badly. And to force this person to have to scramble to prove that I did this, it sucks. It really does. And I hate it if any of that happens to any actual artist. It really truly does suck. And I was looking at all of that, and so I was already on her side. But I feel like that's also really good understanding to prove that we don't know what's going on in other people's lives. We don't understand what struggles they will be going through or what they're dealing with at that moment, so why make it worse? Now, I do personally understand that sometimes people use that as an excuse to be a jerk, and there has been examples, so many examples of people being like, oh yeah, my life sucked, so I was being a jerk to everyone else. And they're like, hold up, you were just being a jerk. That doesn't, you're not excused because your life sucked. That's not an excuse. But just because all of that happened doesn't, like, it doesn't always excuse you. But sometimes, in some cases, it's just like, you don't know how damaging something could be. So, like, why spread that hate? And some of the criticisms that person was getting, saying that it was AI art or something like that, weren't criticisms, because they were just accusing. And it really genuinely sucked. And I felt really bad for them. Like, honestly, genuinely bad. I don't know. I just... It's like, one, you don't know what people are going through. Two, there's so many better ways to do this, to actually criticize. And three, why are you just insulting someone's style? Their style may not be your style, and that's okay. And I don't think people should cause huge internet drama over something as simple as that. I genuinely don't know why people are making a huge fuss. It's just, to me, it's stupid. I don't know. My family did just call. It's time for dinner, so I'm gonna go get some dinner, but I will be, since this video is technically not over yet, I will come back to talk more about this. I just wanted to quickly, do that. So I'm coming back. Hello, I'm back, and I have my dog with me. He's an adorable baby. Okay. Kind of forgot what I was talking about. I probably should have listened to a little bit of it before I actually fully came back. Oh, hi, Barcody. Yes, you can't see him, but he's trying to sniff my phone. Oh, okay. Okie dokie. Just gonna sit down. Okay. Mwah. Okay. So basically, oh yeah, we were talking about art stuff and, like, how, yeah, basically, honestly, my main point is just be nice to each other. We should all just strive to work hard, do our best, and it really shouldn't be this big of a problem. I think next time I do this digital, like, just do art that I've been stacking up on and need to make long videos of again, I think if I'm gonna do that again, if I'm gonna do that again, I might want to do it when, what you call it? When I have like more of a ghost story to tell, because you know my channel, it's more of a spooky, ghosty kind of thing. Well, not really, but like, I love ghosts. I always do ghosting things. Like I have a lantern with a tiny ghost in it. I don't know if you could tell, that's what the logo was meant to be. And I also am writing a story based off of those lanterns with a ghost. I also love ghost stories, so it'd be nice to have like a little ghost story moment when I make these videos. I don't know. Would you guys want to hear something like that? Also, with Halloween coming up, that would be really fun. Also, there's also the little ghost things that I do every single time I hit a certain milestone on my subscribers. I only got to do it once because I hit 21 subscribers at that one point, and I did hit 30 subscribers recently, but I might wait a little bit, and then once it hits maybe 50 subscribers, I might do something for that. Maybe, I don't know. You tell me. Do you wanna see something when I hit 50 subscribers? Yeah, I try my best on this channel. I really, truly do. And I try to discuss things that are important and serious, because I know that sometimes I can just talk on here and it's not always interesting. So I try to make content that would be interesting. I also like to talk about certain serious issues within certain things, so it would be nice to have a place to talk about and vent about all that stuff. But I don't know if you guys are actually interested in that. I don't know. I would actually, yeah, I would like to hear your opinions on all this stuff. Because what I basically do is I just make a bunch of little different animations, videos for my shorts and stuff, and then I just compile them all into these like iMovie things, and then I just talk. I just yap. I just do a little jibber jabber. Barkley is being entertained by licking my hand right now. There's also can you stop, Barkley? Thank you. There's also I like to talk about serious issues, but I also really like ghost stories. So I don't know. Would you guys enjoy that? I don't know. I hope I'm interesting. Because I do talk. I do talk a lot, and I try to figure out my feelings or different issues, or I try to figure out myself through just talking. And sometimes it really just helps me to just jabber, to just do a little jibber jabber. Barkley, you want in or out? So that's why I'm offering some sort of, do you want in or out, Barkley? That's why I'm offering sort of like a place for me to just talk, to just speak on randomness. And if that's something you're into, great. If it's not, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I might try to later on organize it just a little bit better. I don't know. I'm always trying to see what fits best. But I'm also kind of just doing my own thing. And if that's something you enjoy, great. Now, I also just, I do get worried that this also portrays to the community a little bit. I always get really worried that something that I'm doing is just never good enough for someone. And that's just something, like, that's just a constant worry I've always had in my life. It's just, I'm always constantly thinking about, am I good enough? Am I gonna be portrayed well? It's like, are people gonna care about what I do? And that's always been like a little fear of mine, that nobody's gonna care, that I'm just wasting my time and all this. But I realized that I sometimes just need to get out of my own head. But also betraying to that as well, knowing that I criticize myself a lot, sometimes it's just not helpful to just get extra, oh, your art sucks, or oh, it's crappy. Though I do love criticism, I definitely want more criticism within my, like, to talk about my art, to like communicate what's going on with my art and stuff. But if it's not helpful at all, I kind of don't want it. It's just I don't know. It's always been, it's just knowing that I just never understand the, oh, I'm gonna hate on this artist because I don't like their art. I never understood that. I never got that. And I'm honestly not trying to like change anyone's mind on these topics. I'm not trying to be like, my way is the right way. I'm just trying to actually just genuinely say I don't understand. And maybe I never will. Maybe I can see from the other person's point of view but not agree with them. Who knows? I'm just stating my opinion. And I don't know. I feel like doing what people want all the time is not going to be fulfilling for you. If I always made art that was based off of my fan base, which I do once in a while, and I always realized my least favorite art that I've made on my channel have been because I've been so focused on appealing to trends or something like that. And I realized I didn't actually want that. I didn't actually like that art. And I just put so much time, so much effort into making this art that I just did not enjoy. And it just, to me, it looks crappy too. It's not great. So just trying to force somebody into that state where they're like, I have to draw based off somebody else, it's really draining, and it's really dying for that person and that artist. And so I feel like if you don't like the art, just move on because they do. I don't think that you should always insult people's art all the time. Criticism is fine. You can criticize someone's art, just don't say their art is bad, because no art is bad. And like, who are we to judge if an art is good or not? I don't think I can ever judge if my art is perfectly amazing or not. Like, I thought, and I still think, that my art sucks. But when I show it to my friends and or other people, sometimes even strangers or teachers, they always tell me it's really good and that I'm growing, and they compliment me so well. And I appreciate that so much. And I honestly, I don't think that I would ever want to grow like I do now and try to do better if I didn't have all of that support. And I'm not saying you should go to that channel and constantly give support to an artist that you don't particularly like. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just talking about maybe have an open mind on some things, or if not, just don't interact with them. Just don't interact. I don't know. Is that a hard thing to ask, just to not interact with a channel that you don't like? That portrays to a lot of different things, like rage bait, or just really like, it portrays to a lot of things in life and humanity. Just, if you don't like something, don't interact with it, and then it would either die out or go away, or you just don't. The YouTube won't recommend it. And if a huge majority likes it, good for them. If it's not harming anyone, I don't see the problem. Like, there's an artist that I don't like, and I want them to be off of a platform, not because their art is bad, or because I don't like their style. Their style is actually really great, but I don't want to interact with it because they're actively harassing or hurting other people. In my opinion, that's the difference. And it's just, I don't know. If I feel like we shouldn't be so focused on artists that are just having fun with their art, and be more focused on artists that are hurting other artists, or artists that are portraying stuff with their art and media for something that can harm someone else. Like, there's this one artist who kept depicting a lot of racist things. I'm not gonna go deeply into it, but it was really racist, and it was like to target this one artist who was on their platform, and it was like one black artist who was just trying to make a self-insert drawing of them into this thing, and in return, people took that drawing and made it into something really racist, and I just can't approve of that. And so I don't like that artist. I feel like that's the difference. That is art that's actually harming people. And I really hated it, because that artist that they were doing all that to, I really liked that artist. She was so sweet, and all of her videos were always being super kind to all of the other people in the community. And it's just, it didn't feel right for what that artist had to deal with or go through. And lucky for me, I haven't had to deal with any of that. None of that has ever happened to me. But seeing it happen to someone else, it really sucks. And it's just, that's something that should be talked about, and it should be addressed in saying that's not okay. I don't know. It could just be me, but I just say we shouldn't support artists that are actively hurting other people. Anyways, that's my opinion. Thank you for listening. Goodbye, citizens.